He's been the best halfback in the game, or one of. He's led the Warriors' attack. He's taken on the line. He's hit the pass.
But don't lose faith. The Warriors will bounce back, and here is the reason. Because this 2025 team is different. They've been bouncing back all season.
Canberra, you can't fault them at the moment. No. They've given up 110 more points, but at the moment they probably look slightly the better team. We have lost our way a little bit since Origin.
Welcome to the DSPN.
Team New Zealand's in trouble.
Oh, he's done it again, Ricky Hogan.
The Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome to the podcast, people. Martin Devlin, Lachlan Moore, the DSPN. It's on Rover, wherever you find your favourite podcast. You listen to the whole audio show here on the DSPN YouTube channel. We chop it down into more consumable, bite-sized chunks for you. It's a BLT, Big League Tuesday today. We're going to park the rugby and park the All Blacks for a day or so. We'll be back over the next couple of days, and on Thursday, a whole special on the naming of that first test team of the year to play France in the first of 3 tests in Dunedin. So today, Warriors, all fans reeling at the news that Luke Metcalf is now out for the season with that ACL injury. Michael Witt used to play in the halves for the Warriors between 2007 2009, and you will remember him too as the guy that put the ball down, mate, against Melbourne Storm. He joins us with his thoughts. As well as that, Richie Morgan, Warriors Nation. He's the drummer. He leads the overseas contingent, the fans that turn up and drown out the home fans every single time the Warriors play across the Tasman. Richie with a fan's perspective. Matt Gunn, our good old Ocker mate who's been a Bulldogs fan for 30 years. We're going to play a healthy round of Glass Half Full with Matt. 6 again, we call it. We give him 6 different subjects, scenarios, situations, clubs, teams, players, whatever, and he can tell us whether he's glass half full, glass half empty. So here it comes, a big NRL special as we do on Tuesday. We begin the show the same way every day, which is a sermon from the mountaintop, and it's got to be about the Warriors. Where are we at? 10-5 with back-to-back losses for the first time all season.
Marty Sermons brought to you by WebWonks. Generate online leads with WebWonks. Doctors for your Google data.
We live in an amazing, amazing world, and it's wasted on the crappiest generation of just spoiled idiots.
The Warriors lost to Brisbane. Yes, it sucks. Yes, because it should. Yes, because every loss does suck. Yes, because losing as a sports fan is meant to suck. It's not meant to be fun. Yes, you're meant to feel stink. Yes. Hey, we weren't terrible. No, just weren't good enough. They played better on the day. No debate about that. The Broncos have a really good roster. Again, no debate about that. They've been inconsistent, though, and underperforming all season. Saturday was one of those days where they reminded the comp that if they do get it right, yes, they can be a threat. But I say panic not, Warriors fans. Let's not overreact here. Still fourth, still having a hell of a season. A+ for effort. We didn't lose easy, and that's really important. Be difficult to beat. Always be a difficult side to beat. Bring a bad attitude to losing. What we weren't was as clinical as we've previously been. Too many errors, and worse than that, too many injuries. And that's the biggest worry, especially the one to Luke Metcalf. However, this is where, the squad depth does get tested. Let's also not forget that a few years ago, we were hoping not to finish bottom 4, and now we are top 4. And that loss was not a disaster. Certainly a reality check. Next up, though, another bye. So we're still going to be in the top 4 after this weekend. Then the Tigers, Knights and Titans in that order. All bottom 5 teams, all there to be beaten. All should be beaten. The last 2 games, Panthers and Broncos, as I said, are the first back-to-back losses all year. Up till then, every loss was followed by an immediate win. The pessimist says it's a little speed wobble. That's what those 2 losses are. The optimist says win 2 of the next 3 at home and the team is right back on track. Top 4, very much the target and very much achievable still. So, sure, be frustrated after Brisbane, because we should be, because it wasn't a great performance. But don't lose faith. The Warriors will bounce back, and here is the reason. Because this 2025 team is different. They've been bouncing back all season. And I think that in itself is a great reason to jump the bandwagon. And now is the perfect time. Look, if you still haven't upped the wahs yet in your life, there is still plenty of time. It is never too late to jump on a sporting bandwagon. You can be a doubter, a hater, a Johnny-come-later. None of it matters. You fake it while they make it. Honestly, even if you haven't been before, there is no better time to up the wahs than right now. 4th on the table after 17 rounds, won 10, lost 5. Of the 9 games left, only 2 are against teams in the top 8. And this team has reinvented itself every time there's been an injury or a suspension. Players have stepped up. The next man up policy is working for the Warriors, so be confident. This is the second best start to a season ever. Now, you don't actually have to pretend you've always been a fan. It's all and only all about the now. It's not about the how. Forget what anyone else says or tell you that I've been a fan for as long as I've been a fan for. So what? Hey, the Warriors don't mind. Why should they? The team is on a high. The time is nigh. You don't have to be an expert on the game. Seriously, the more the merrier. So welcome aboard, latecomer. There is always room for another bandwagon jumper. So jump.
Devlin.
Big League Tuesday continues. Our good old mate Matt Gunn from Twizel, beautiful part of the country that it is. Been a Doggies fan for well over 30 years, mate. And what we're going to do is we're going to play another game of
Glass Half Full.
We call it 6 again. I'll give you 6 topics. We might branch out to 7. We'll wait and see. About a minute or so, minute and a half on each. When that guy yells at us, we go on to the next one. Whole lot of scenario, situations, players, teams, possibilities, Matt. And you can tell me whether you're glass half full, glass half empty. Yes! Let's start with the news that'll sit every Warriors fan back down and be a little pensive, I think, approaching the bye and then the next couple of games. Luke Metcalf out now for the season, the ACL injury. So on the Warriors, 2 losses. First time all season, now no Metcalf for the rest of the season. You glass half what?
Half empty on that, Martin. Almost fully empty. He's been the best halfback in the game, or one of, all year. He's led the Warriors' attack. He's taken on the line. He's hit the pass. He's hit the kick. He's chipped. He's chinked. He's chased. And he's gone. And game 1, after playing Canberra, they said, is this the right combination?
Yeah, true.
From then on in, everybody said, this is the right combination. Aren't we lucky we stayed with it? And now... well, he's out for the rest of the season, and I did wonder, he did not look in very good shape when he went off the other day. Not good, empty for the Warriors, very sad.
All right, glass half full, glass half empty on your Bulldogs, losing to the Penrith Panthers 8-6, the resurgent Panthers, 4 in a row for them. You now go away this weekend. No, you're home to the Broncos this weekend. Broncos just beating the Warriors. But that was, Ivan Cleary said, finals football, and you could only manage 6 points against Penrith. So where are you at with your Dogs? Half full, half empty?
Well, I mean, they really could manage 2 points from a penalty from us and then a charge down try, which is 50-50 at best. So you could see how happy they were to break the line, but they didn't really break the line. What they did was what Viliami Kikau has done for the last 2 or 3 seasons, create opportunities from a charge down. The timing's got to be right. It's not an unskillful play, but it is a bit lucky that the ball bounces up in that way when it doesn't always. So, I wasn't that depressed about the game. We pushed them towards the end. They defended us. We're the best defensive team at the moment. They've been the best defensive team for 4 or 5 years. And honestly, that final result, it could have been ours. They got it. I'm not heartbroken. Glass still half full, still at the top of the table. But at the moment, I'm worried about Canberra.
Well, let's talk about then. Now, 6 wins in a row now for the Raiders, and they've knobbed you on points differential. However, when I say the points table doesn't lie, it does lie in the NRL because you've got to figure in the buys, and the Raiders have actually played 2 more games. You've both only lost 3 games. They've had another win. They've got those wins on the board, but you've got those buys to come. Where are you with the Raiders right now?
Yeah, well, they have got they've got 4 points in the bank already. So what that means is we have to win. Canberra look fantastic at the moment. Ricky Stewart's got them playing superbly. He's got his son into the squad, and he's playing well. The whole squad's very tough. Defensively, they're strong. They run the ball hard, and they can score points. Look, at the moment, I think they're hovering just above us. We've both got glass halves full. Theirs may be a mouthful more than ours at the moment. Look, I'm not too worried about not having buys on the way home. We still got to get through Origin, and Jacob Carraz has just been called up for New South Wales as 18 man. So, like in the first couple of games, we're missing players again. But I think we just need to get some momentum, just win a couple in a row. That's really where we need to be. Okay. Canberra, you just can't fault them at the moment. No. They've scored 434 points against our 336. They've given up 110 more points, but at the moment they probably look slightly the better team. We have lost our way a little bit since Origin.
Yes! Glass half full, glass half empty on the storm finding form, because they were pretty damn impressive there against Cronulla. And I mean, you can never ever say about the Melbourne Storm that they're just quietly going about their business. But they're third on the table. But are they really on the radar? Where do you sit with them right now?
Yeah, I mean, they don't look as good as the Melbourne.
No, I think that's what I'm trying to say, yeah.
A bit like Penrith. Yeah, a bit like Penrith. You cannot discredit them as a squad. What was it on the weekend? 30 points to 6 over the Sharks. I've said all year the Sharks are flaky.
Yeah, mate. And they've lost 4 of the last 5.
The Storm just totally outplayed them.
Yeah,
totally outplayed them. Sharks looked lost in offence. They just couldn't break Melbourne down. Melbourne are there or thereabouts. Look, I think I sent you a message, said this is just such an open competition at the moment. Teams are playing tremendously one week and not so good the next.
Yeah.
There'll be a few more upsets, and look, I'm just hoping that maybe St George can back up from their win against the Eels, where they looked pretty good. I thought they looked all right. Against Canberra, I'd just like to see Canberra take a couple of knocks.
Living in hope, aren't
they
you?
just need to take a couple
Living
of
in
knocks.
bloody hope. Well, the Sharks have lost 4 or 5. What about the Dolphins, though? They've won 4 of 5, and every time they win, they seem to put 50 points on another team. They're sitting there in 7th spot at the moment. They're 8-8. Glass half full, glass half empty on their chances of making the 8.
Oh, it's definitely half full on chances of making the 8, and the way they've played at times, they've been absolutely fantastic. Again, probably not as consistent as they would like to be, but in this competition, I don't think you can use past years' results for and against wins and losses to set yourself up, because we've still got a fairly clear top 4. But beyond that, as we've seen with Penrith over the last 3 or 4 weeks, even during Origin, and even not even been able to get some of their players back from Perth, they're on a roll.
Oh, yeah,
There's
4 in a row.
Good teams all over the park.
Yeah.
Good teams all over the park. The Broncos, the Dogs, Friday night.
Huge
Broncos
game.
are a good team,
Yeah,
but
they
without
showed it.
Adam Reynolds being absolutely on form, they don't quite have the direction they need. So I hope, unlike last time we played, that Adam Reynolds has an absolute shocker, because he was the difference in that game where they put us to the sword in the first half and then we scored points in the second. But goodness gracious, there's hardly a team that you'd want to ride off. And even last week, you talk about how good Canberra are. I don't know if you watched them against the Newcastle Knights. That was in Newcastle. The Knights took them extremely close. And, you know, the Knights have been a little bit shaky. They're in 13th. They almost got Canberra. So, you know, this is the strength of the squads that are at the bottom. If you're not on your game, you could lose. Look, there's no way I'd put a bet on right now for top 4 in any order, and particularly with the Warriors, they're sitting in 4th with no Luke Metcalf. Yes! I mean, they could finish.
Okay, just stop that right now. Look, glass half full, glass half empty. We're going to finish on the Warriors in the next 3 games. But I want to look at, you made the point, between the Panthers in the 7th and the Dragons in 11th. There's only 2 points between those teams. We can go down to the Cowboys on 17 points. Can we cut Knights, Tigers, Eels, Rabbits and Titans 14 points down to 12? Can we cut them all loose? Glass half full, glass half empty. They're all gone right now, are they?
I don't think they make the 8, no. Okay. The Cowboys are right on the edge too, mate. I mean, they beat the Titans over the weekend, but the Titans aren't much of a squad, and they only got home by 6 points. They could have lost it. So the Cowboys are almost ready to be dropped too, even though they're quite close there.
Final one then. Glass half full, glass half empty. And this is what the Warriors have got to do. Bye, and then it's the Tigers at home, Knights away, Titans at home. So a new halves combination, but regroup, win those 2 home games. Forget about the Knights game, just win the home games. Win the home games from here. They can finish on 15, 16, 17 wins. That's top 4. Glass half full, glass half empty. Warriors top 4.
Oh, look, it depends on how they go this week.
No, they're going to buy this week. We've got the cheaper than the buy.
They should, next week. They should win the 3 of their next 3 games.
Should do, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're all winnable games.
Should do.
Yeah.
Who are we bringing in for halfback? I mean,
Tanner Boyd?
I'm not sure.
But then do you change the number 6, you see? What do? Do you change 6? Do you keep 6? Do you change 7 only? Or do you a brand new combination? He's got some thinking to do.
I'd keep 6 at 6.
Yeah.
I'd keep 6 at 6. I'll be bringing in a halfback.
Okay.
I wouldn't be trying to change the entire back line to bring in a halfback replacement for Metcalf. because there's too many combinations out wide through six, through the centres and out to the wingers. So, look, let me say this. I have been a big Warriors fan this year with the way they've played.
Yep.
Even at times where we didn't know whether they'd get the job done, they did. So, look, I'm going to say they'll bring in a good halfback and they make the top four. Glass half full Warriors to make the top four. It'll be dependent on the next 4 weeks.
I'll take it, and every Warriors fan will. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Go the Donkeys.
This is the DSPN